In 1893, the Norwegian painter Edvard Munch created one of the most recognized paintings in history, the scream. Screams are sound waves that propagate through material mediums such as land, water, or air itself. An interesting way to classify them is based on their intensity, using the decibel scale. This scale starts at 0, which is the lowest sound intensity a human can hear. Since it is a logarithmic scale, every 10 additional decibels means the sound intensity is 10 times greater. The ambient sound of a very quiet room registers around 20 decibels, which is 100 times more intense than the beginning of the scale. Above 85 decibels, we start to suffer irreversible hearing damage if exposed for too long. For comparison, this is the same sound intensity as traffic on a busy highway, which can easily reach 85 decibels. A jet engine at 328 feet away can reach 110 decibels, and above 120 decibels, we risk instant hearing loss. But all these sounds are insignificant compared to the loudest sound ever recorded in history, which occurred in 1883 in the Krakatoa archipelago in Indonesia. In the years prior, seismic activity was already intense, with earthquakes felt as far as Australia. On August 25, 1883, Krakatoa entered continuous activity, with explosions heard every 10 minutes. Sailors as far as 12.4 miles away reported pumice stones falling on their ships. On August 27th, 4 major explosions occurred, capable of generating tsunamis about 98 feet high. The third explosion, at 10:02 a.m., was strong enough to be heard 1,933 miles away in Perth, Australia, and 2,983 miles away on islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Local residents thought it was the sound of cannons from nearby ships. At 99.4 miles from the volcano, this explosion generated a sound that reached 180 decibels, about 1,000,000 times more intense than a whistle next to the ear. The energy released was estimated to be about 4 Tsar bombs, breaking windows 559 miles away. However, the fourth and final explosion sent volcanic ash into the atmosphere at an altitude of 49.7 miles. This was the loudest sound ever recorded in history. The resulting shockwave traveled at 675 miles per hour, with an intensity of 310 decibels, being heard more than 3,107 miles away. Sailors 39.8 miles away had their eardrums ruptured. The shockwave was so intense that it circled the Earth 3.5 times. On August 28, 1883, the Krakatoa volcano fell silent, with less than 30% of the original island remaining. Even in silence, it continued to have global consequences. The following year, temperatures in the northern hemisphere dropped by about 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit. The weather became chaotic and only returned to normal in 1888. Distant cities like Los Angeles and San Diego experienced record rainfall between July 1883 and June 1884 due to the Krakatoa eruption. Another consequence was the increase in the concentration of sulfuric acid in the atmosphere, reflecting more sunlight and cooling the planet. The volcanic ash reduced the red light in the atmosphere, causing bluish moons and red sunsets for months. In 2004, astronomers suggested that the red sky in Munch's The Scream might have been inspired by the volcanic ashes from Krakatoa. This hypothesis is contested by art historians, but the possibility that the eruption inspired one of the most famous paintings is fascinating.